their name, their mailing address, then that's it. You can put a maybe custom message. Postagram will then create a postcard, slap your picture right in there, and then mail it for you. I think they charge maybe 99 cents right now a postcard, so I don't know how much money they're making. But I think what they're doing great is they're encouraging people to, that content that we're all creating with our phones, make it easy for people to print it. So if you think about maybe a web-to-print storefront, people can customize their collateral. If there's a way to maybe let people easily upload photos, or maybe even if you can integrate with Facebook a little bit so people can access their photo library from a social network, I think that's a little way to maybe use some of that content and get it on a printed piece. But I would definitely encourage everyone, though, if you have got an iPhone, Postagram is an awesome app, and it's a good concept, I think, for printers maybe in general. Here's another way to print in social media. What do we have on our business cards nowadays? Right, it's changing. Maybe we've got QR codes that point us to maybe your business card info. I think another good way, though, is start promoting our social networks, our channels that we're on our cards. So here's an example. He's got the Twitter ID, his Facebook, his LinkedIn. So one, hey, that creates awareness, because maybe it's easier for someone to send me a tweet when they meet me as opposed to calling. But providing those options. And then with the QR code, to really point someone to a mobile site that provides all of that information. So then that way they scan the code, they maybe see your picture, they can then quickly, they choose how they want to contact you. So just a little way to maybe integrate social and where we are on the printed pieces that we're distributing. And then just this last one, so how do we make money, say, from print as mobile keeps growing or social networks keep growing? And the biggest advice and the biggest success stories we see are for people that don't just sell the one thing, right? So they don't just sell the postcard, but now they're really asking their clients questions. So what is this postcard for? So it's for a seminar, right? So we're printing this to help drive registration. Well, the way to start integrating print with other channels and getting more business is to try to point out ways that they can use maybe email or maybe social networks to try to further promote that seminar. And so that's one of the biggest ways that as printers look to maybe offer more marketing services, that don't just try to do the one and done thing, but if you can start to get people in, we can help you with the full campaign with integrating print. I think that's one of the best ways to increase the revenue that you do get. And then finally, this slide, I know has a lot going on, but it really all comes down to maybe the client's, the website in the end, and the different ways to maybe get content created and distributed. And so I really like this slide because if you think about maybe your client's website or yours, if we start embracing all the different ways that it can be distributed, so across Twitter or Flickr or YouTube, and the printed component, I think that's going to be the best way, because a lot of people are blogging nowadays, and all that content lives online, and it's good. But I guarantee you, there's someone out there with a blog that would love to see it printed, or maybe they convert it into a book of some sort. If we can find ways with our hardware and software to print those not too expensive, I feel like so much of that online content, the blogs, needs to be on a printed page. It can have a far-reaching impact. So to try to, if you see your client creating a lot of content on the web, if you could try to maybe pick those opportunities and say, hey, we can really extend the reach of what you're creating, which is great, onto the printed piece, I think that's another way to maybe drive some of that print business. So just maybe some of the final takeaways. I know there's going to be technology that replaces QR codes, right? There's companies here that are already talking about what's next. One thing to pay attention to is near-field communications, NFC. It's definitely not here yet because most phones don't support it, but it's absolutely one thing to keep your eyes on. But to me, QR codes are absolutely the best way right now to help your client say, this printed piece is great, but a whole bunch of your audience has a smartphone. We can help you reach them by incorporating the QR code, following some of those best practices. Social media, print can help drive traffic. Don't be afraid to pick on your clients. Oh, you've got a Facebook page, and you're not going to do a postcard or a calendar this time. Point out maybe how many fans they have, or things like that. Don't be afraid to call people out on that, because in the end, more fans, more traffic is good for them. And when we can show examples as to how print can help them accomplish those goals, I think it's a way to make a little business. And then the last one, we all talk about it, right? It's great to go buy software that helps us do QR codes or social networking, but beyond just buying, it's really taking the time to make a strategy as to how you're going to effectively implement it. So that way we don't just make a QR code, slap it on a piece, and then have no idea how many people scan it. But taking the time to maybe create that little bit of a marketing strategy ahead of time can really benefit. So that's actually all we have for slides, but if anyone has any questions on QR codes or anything like that, we'll have to answer either here or after the presentation. So, all right, thank you everyone for attending.